It might be hard to believe, but the majority of Chapel Hill City employees don't even live in town. Reporter Susan Tart tells us why so many local workers cannot call Chapel Hill home.
Amy Harvey's workday lasts 13 hours, but she gets paid for only 8. That's because she's one of the many Chapel Hill town employees who don't live in Chapel Hill and must commute.
I get up somewhere between 5:30 and 6 o'clock in the morning, get myself together, and then get my daughter up to get her together. We probably leave the house about 7 and get to her school just before 8. And then I'm here, depending upon traffic and everything else, between 8:15 and 8:30.
More than 70% of town workers live outside of Chapel Hill, with some employees driving more than an hour to get to work. It's a problem Christine Westfall of the Orange Community Housing and Land Trust says is unique to Chapel Hill.
Chapel Hill has a particular challenge in that many of the people who work in town cannot afford to live in town due to the high housing prices.
An average house in Chapel Hill, such as this one, sells for more than $500,000. That's more than twice the value of homes sold in the rest of Orange County.
For a minimum wage worker to currently afford a 2-bedroom apartment in Chapel Hill, they have to work 2 full-time jobs.
Director of Public Works in Chapel Hill, Bill Lettieri, agrees homeownership is a problem, but says raising minimum wage won't solve it.
We already pay well beyond the minimum wage. We have what we call a living wage situation here, so no one is paid less than, I think it's $8 at this point.
The town requires that 15% of housing units be affordable. But for people like Harvey, there are few moderately priced houses, which means spending lots of money on gas for commutes.
I probably spend between $40 and $60 a week. If I'm just driving by myself, it's probably closer to $60.
Whether city workers live far away for personal reasons or financial ones, their commutes are long. But officials say the commutes would be just as long in bigger cities with more traffic. In Chapel Hill, I'm Susan Tart, Carolina Week.
Workers living out of town is an even bigger problem during bad weather. Many of them weren't able to drive into town during the snowstorm of 2000, which meant Chapel Hill couldn't even function. However, city officials say they now have backup plans for bringing workers into town when a storm hits.
We all know a midday power nap can leave you feeling refreshed. But did you know there can actually be health benefits to napping? A new health study says young men who take midday naps could live longer. But naps don't just benefit young men. Dr. Ted Cash says power naps can benefit everyone. Naps decrease stress in college students and in working adults. UNC student Eric Smith says he takes power naps during the day, not because he's trying to stay healthy, but because of those boring lecture classes.
I don't even really have to be sleepy. And sometimes I go to class and like the teacher will get up there and have a boring lecture and I just end up falling asleep.
Midday naps give you more energy and they also prevent high cholesterol and heart disease.
Hollywood hopefuls got the chance to meet a man with a real-life television success story. Students packed into the Union Cabaret on Friday to see Hollywood director Paul Feig. Feig, whose credits include the hit TV comedy The Office, answered a number of audience questions ranging from different topics, including character development to auditioning.
It's crazy. You go to an audition and they'll go like, "Can you claw dance?" It's like, yeah.
Aspiring director and UNC student Bryce McNabb wrote down some advice from the Hollywood veteran. McNabb says his own directing will benefit from Feig's visit.
My favorite piece of advice was to create characters that the audience will want to hang out with, and that's something that I'm definitely going to take with me in the future.
This was Feig's first visit to UNC and part of the week-long Carolina Comedy Festival.
428 Essex, Polyp on the premises.
Good 20.
We begin our Black History Month coverage today with a little jazz. We'll talk about John Coltrane. He was born in Hamlet, grew up in High Point, and moved on to change the world of music. His improvisational playing and melodic freedom didn't just influence jazz. Jimi Hendrix, for one, was inspired by Coltrane's aggressive improvising style. Coltrane recorded albums in styles ranging from bebop to free jazz. During the Civil Rights Movement, UNC students created a movement of their own. The Black Student Movement, or BSM, has been a voice for unsung students since 1967. The organization took part in the 1969 food workers' strike and the recent construction of the Sonia Haynes Stone Center. BSM President Renee McPherson says she looks forward to what the group will do in the future.
This year, BSM, to mark our 40th anniversary, want to continue the movements that we have had in the past and make sure that our mark on Carolina's campus has not been forgotten.
BSM is open to all students. If you would like to participate, meetings are every Wednesday afternoon at 5:30. Well, Capoeira has come to UNC. The Brazilian martial art has students kicking, dodging, even singing to a whole new beat. UNC's Capoeira Club held its first official practice last week. Capoeira incorporates music, dance, and acrobatics with martial arts. The instructor began the class with this step, the basic movement called the ginga. Within an hour, students were ready to play the game. To play, participants form a circle and take turns sparring in pairs in the center. This instrument, the berimbau, keeps the rhythm. Gustavo Arriaga says capoeira is a creative sport and a great outlet for students.
Each one of the students here at UNC can sort of find their path and use capoeira as a way to express themselves.
If you'd like to learn capoeira, classes are every Sunday at 1 p.m.
And we're joined now by weathercaster Laura Pagano.
Hi.
So Laura, the weather has kind of just been doing a lot of changes lately.
Yes, temperatures have been going up and down like a roller coaster. We've seen some pretty cold temperatures over the past week, and it was pretty nice today. This student took advantage of the warmer temperatures today, but will the nice weather last? I'll let you know when we come back.